Okay, good morning. My name is Steve Prater. To my right is Danny Barra. To my left is Chuck Tillis. We're going to be handling all of the Committee on Parole cases today from headquarters in Baton Rouge, DOC headquarters, which is where we're located right now. We're the Committee on Parole, and in the room with us is some staff members that will be assisting with today's work, and they are.
Sure.
Okay, and thank you, ladies, for your work. We appreciate that. The first place we're going to is Assumption Parish Detention Center to talk about a revocation with Mr. ONRE Batiste. If I'm saying that correctly, are you Mr. Batiste? Okay, would you speak up? You are Mr. Batiste?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And what is your DOC number, sir?
552855.
Okay, and with the Assumption Parish Detention Center, we have staff in the room. Ma'am, would you introduce yourself, Deputy?
Deputy Darla Talbot.
Okay, thank you for hosting us today. We appreciate it. And Mr. Batiste, we have also a Zoom where your attorney is on the Zoom with us. Mr. Attorney, would you introduce yourself, please?
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Stavros Pentegalopoulos. I'm an attorney here on behalf of Mr. Batiste.
Okay, thank you. And sir, are you retained or appointed?
Retained, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. And all right. So we appreciate that. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Mr. Batiste, when you have when you get out of jail, you sign these conditions of parole that you agree to. And when you violate or are suspected of violating some of those conditions of parole, then you come back before either your parole officer or us as a board if it's serious enough. And your case was deemed serious enough to where the probation parole officer wanted us to hear your case. And you're accused of violating just one condition, condition number 4, which says that you'll stay away from criminal activity and drugs and all of that sort of thing. And you're accused of having violated that. Your condition number 4 stems from the fact that you were arrested on January the 6th of 2025 and for obstruction of justice, possession of marijuana, and possession of CDS. You have a chance right now you can either plead guilty to that, you can plead innocent of that, and you have a chance to give us a statement. So how would you like to plead? And Mr. Attorney, feel free to chime in here anytime you'd like to, sir.
I like to plead not guilty. On it, sir. Just due to the fact of the matter, all the charges, I don't even have all the charges in the courthouse anymore right now as we speak. And that also to that, but also due to the fact of the matter that I also would like it to go y'all to view the body cam so y'all can see that it's any proof that anything came out my mouth, nor anything wasn't found on me, nor in a vehicle that I was driving at that time, sir.
Okay.
So specifically, if I might address points, both the technical points first, and then separately with regards to the factual argument. With regards to the technical alleged violations for failure to immediately enroll and cooperate with parole upon his initial release, Mr. Batiste is a young man. Did not follow the paperwork properly, but had no intention of failure to comply. Understanding that there is still a failure to comply as a result, that we would suggest that a technical violation of 15 or 30 days would be appropriate rather than a full revocation, given the fact that he had no other violations with the exception of the alleged arrest that is still pending in Assumption Parish, which has not been pled guilty to, and Mr. Batiste is fighting for because reasons as provided in the police report and in the evidence. We're talking about an allegation of him allegedly possessing 1.55 grams of alleged narcotics material. 1.55 grams. So an amount alleged almost nothing a trace amount that arguably could, as we have argued, is a question whether or not it's actually a detected amount in the items that are possessed by Mr. Batiste versus it being something that might have been a contaminant in the testing machinery, given the extremely small amount under the circumstances. Beyond that, the fact that there's a question regarding proper procedure and probable cause with the course of the pending case in Assumption Parish, if we would believe that there's not sufficient probable cause for purposes of putting forward for a violation. If the board is so inclined, then we would suggest tabling the matter and allowing it to be revisited once it has been dealt with in court, because then that would address the issue one way or the other.
Okay, and I assume, I'm sure you understand this, but we deal with a preponderance of evidence on parole applications and not the probable cause. So I take to heart everything that you said, and it does matter what you said, but I just wanted to make sure you understood that we don't have to necessarily wait on crime labs and things like that to get the probable cause if we feel in our hearts that there's a preponderance. Mr. Batiste, I'm concerned that you're on parole for racketeering and distribution of cocaine, and you're a third-class offender, and you're hanging around a car wash. And now I can say that, listen to me, I can say that because I know what goes on at some car washes. I'm not saying this one, and I'm not saying that was going on, but I know car washes quite often are a distribution point for illegal narcotics. So it doesn't look good. If I was a third-class offender and I was on parole for racketeering and distribution of cocaine, you couldn't get me near a car wash. Yes, sir. You go ahead. That was just fatherly advice, okay? But you can respond.
So, where I was at, I'm not even from that part of town, and I was coming from somewhere getting my car clean, and I was washing my car, and just so happened that a detective had ended up swinging on him and up searching other people around in that area. And while they were getting searched down, while I was getting done cleaning my vehicle, I ended up leaving from the area. But I was pulled over on side of the road like 5 minutes later due to what happened. Well, the police report also said that it was that, but it said that it was a traffic violation when I wasn't even charged with any traffic tickets at all also. So, like, I'm just saying, I just hope y'all go off of factual evidence instead of what he says, whatever what the case scenario is, and just go off of the camera footage instead of going off of that, because it said two different things. It said that marijuana was smelled coming out my vehicle, around my vehicle, and the whole time that if that would have been the case, everybody at that car wash would have never got shook down. It just would have been me from the jump. They wouldn't have to take me for the pull off and me get pulled on side the road 5 minutes later on the highway. No, it wouldn't say that it was a traffic violation as well. You know, so I'm just hoping that y'all go off for factual evidence and the body camera, the body footage camera instead of just, you know.
Yes, sir, I understand, and that's a reasonable thing to say. It's a reasonable thing to say. And you've been on parole since December of 2019, correct?
Yes, sir, and I ain't never been in trouble ever since that. I was working it. I actually was about to be getting off of parole due to good behavior. I just was about to be getting off, and that ended up happening, me going to that car wash and that accident happened.
Now, didn't you said you hadn't been in trouble. Didn't you get into a little snafu back in 2023?
Yeah, that was but all them charges were dropped due to the fact of the matter that, see, I was going in and out of the psych ward, and they had a problem going on at the house, and I was showing the police also what had happened, and by me showing the police what happened, he had arrested me, saying that, in other words, he was saying I wasn't supposed to touch him at all, in other words.
Yes,
But
sir.
that was a misunderstanding.
But you end up serving some time for it, didn't you?
No, I ended up being locked up for like a little over half a year, and I was released it because
Yes.
they didn't know what actually had happened with that.
Okay, well, I just didn't want you to think that we buy into the fact that you hadn't been in trouble since 2019. Because in fact.
Oh yeah,
One time. And so, uh, let's see.
What was the traffic violation that you were stopped for?
they said it was a traffic violation, but I didn't never had received any traffic on charges.
Did they say, did he tell you why he was stopping you? What?
No, sir.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Mr. Laura, would you?
Have any questions? I think I'm okay. Continue.
Okay, that's what Mr. Barra is writing, okay, you made the motion, so that's what you, right, then you got a motion to continue.
I second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to continue, and that's what it takes, 2 votes to continue. Mr. Attorney, do you have anything to say, or would that satisfy you?
Yeah, that satisfies us, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, well, my vote then is to concur with that. So we have 3 people that have voted today, and we have voted to continue your case until the outcome of the charges. And I wanna caution you again, don't be around a bunch of people like that. You're on parole and you're looking at some bunch of time, and maybe your attorney can reinforce what I'm saying to you if he chooses to, but you gotta avoid the preponderance, or you gotta avoid any kind of impropriety, okay? Even the appearance of impropriety. So anyway, by a vote of 3, we have continued this revocation hearing. The time is 8:53 in the morning, end of hearing. All right,
So just wait until they unmute you. I think you should be close to first, if not second, is what they're saying. Do you see your name?
Yeah, in the middle.
Okay.
All right.
Good luck to you.
Hello. Muted?
Okay, good morning. The day is May the 13th, 2026. We're continuing our hearings of the Committee on Parole, and we're in Baton Rouge. And you are Mr. Edwin Lee, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what is your DOC number, Mr. Lee?
5 to the 873.
Okay, and your attorney is here at headquarters with us, and his name is Scott Collier, and he'll be speaking from headquarters here in just a few minutes. And you are at the Louisiana State Penitentiary. And is anybody in the room with you from the Louisiana State Penitentiary?
Sam McKay, Directive Treatment, Louisiana State Penitentiary.
Thank you.
Classification.
Okay, thank y'all for hosting us this morning. Okay, Mr. Lee, you and your attorney will be the one speaking this morning, and Mr. Barra will be the one that's doing the questioning while we listen, and we've all studied the case. And so, Mr. Collier, if you'd like to go stand at the podium and be on standby there, and feel free to interrupt at any point that you feel like that we need to reconsider something or think about something. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Barra to go over the revocation violations.
All right. It's alleged that you have violated the conditions of your parole in the following manner: that you did not report for intake within 48 hours of being released. You can plead guilty, not guilty, or with a statement on either one of those. How would you plead?
I don't know.
No. Mr. Collier, how you want him to plead? Does he want to make a statement regarding that?
The reason why I didn't report because I was at the hospital.
I'm assuming that if there was any reason he didn't report that to do mental health aspect of his case. You say you were at the hospital, Mr. Lee?
Yes, sir.
That would be the statement.
Mr. Collier, are you appointed or? Okay,
And how long were you at the hospital for?
I've been going back and forth about I came home 2025. I've been going back for I'm in 8 hospitals. Going back and forth. None of them I'm trying to get my medication.
Back and forth, you've been to the hospital.
Yes, sir.
During the time between the hospital, how long is the longest time you ever stayed out of the hospital?
Couple of days.
So you would have had time to go.
Less than a week.
In a couple of days, you would have had time to go report if you wanted to, correct?
Yeah, I had transportation, yeah.
Okay. Then let's talk about number 4. It is alleged that you violated condition number 4 on August 7th, 2025, and we issued a summons by Baton Rouge Police Department for simple battery. Reading the report, it says that you randomly picked a victim in the hospital and walked up to him and punched him in the face in front of security guards. How do you plead to that one?
Not guilty.
Okay, and do you want to make a statement regarding that?
Yeah, I beat the charge. The charge was thrown out.
I do have a confirmation from our office. We represented him in that, and I'm certified from the city for it, but he was no cross in the battery, the simple battery.
Okay, we understand that, we got that too, but the way we look at things, now pros doesn't mean not guilty. Now pros just means not prosecuted. There's an eyewitness to this that says they saw you, who was also a security guard, saw you do it and wrote statements. So when we're looking at this, we look at criminal behavior as the violation, not criminal convictions as the violation. So that's you have partial defense, but you don't have full coverage on that. Let's put it to you that way. You want to say anything else about that after you heard what we had to say about it?
No, sir.
How about you, Mr. Collier?
No, other than he's presumed innocent. Respectfully.
Okay.
I guess I think it's a weight of the evidence on that. Sorry.
Okay, well, those are the 2 violations that are alleged. If you have anything more to say, Mr. Lee, now would be the time to say it. And Mr. Collier, you can follow behind him. And if you have anything else to add to it, that would be the time for you to speak.
Can if I'm still made to go back home office,
Say that again?
if I'm still gonna be able to get released.
Well, that depends on how the vote goes right here after we,
Alright.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll find out shortly though.
All right.
How about you, Mr. Colliers,
I
any
met
statement?
Mr. Lee yesterday. Thank you. I met Mr. Lee yesterday for the first time. That we had a very healthy conversation and Mr. Lee and his mental health needs. I know that the board has a decision to make, but he is desiring to go back to the remote where he was. I did not make contact with the social worker. He gave me well, his grandmother gave me the number, but I think Mr. Lee is very aware that he has to take care of himself. It's not on that, very alert. Medication he's on. Apparently it's very effective. But I just would underscore in our meeting, I was impressed with Mr. Lee's awareness of his needs for mental health treatment and that he has to continue that. Based on that, I'll submit.
You say the medicine is effective?
In my introduction to him, I was expecting a lot different reaction. We had a very good
Excuse
conversation.
me, sir. At the time too, I was not on my medication. I get a shot every month. Was not on my medication, so that's why I was going in and out the hospital. And here, the probation officer knew that I was going out the hospital because I was not on my right medication. I had no medication that I would take.
When's the
And
last you took your medication?
I took my medication this morning. I'm talking about when I was released. While all this happened, I had the medication and the social worker, and I don't know, trying to get right on my medication. I'm on medication now because I'm back up here. I get a full shot, and I get depression, and I get some schizophrenia. And at the time I was at the hospital, I was on suicide watch.
Mr. Lee?
Yeah.
Mr. Lee, what are
Yes, sir.
you on parole for?
I caught. It's not nothing serious. This for this fight. I got convicted in New Orleans Parish on jailhouse charges. And I was not on the right medication. I went to forensic 9 times, Eastern 9 times from all them charges.
Okay, but you're on parole for second-degree battery, escape, battery of a correctional officer, and aggravated battery. Is that correct?
Yeah, jailhouse charges, yes, sir.
All right. Okay, that's the only question I have. All right, you got any?
I don't have any questions, except if we wanted to have the doctor there who's attending to you right now, give us a little bit of information. Like, I'm wondering why is he never on his medication? Because it's an excuse for everything, but it never gets fixed. Why you never on your medication?
I gotta find somebody that can give me a full shot. I can't give myself a shot.
And they don't tell you, go to this place or go to that place?
I never had a chance to find it.
Did it ever cross through your mind if you went to your parole officer and signed up on supervision that they would be able to help you?
And the transportation, I was in the hospital. How am I gonna go?
Is the
So
doctor,
you just have an excuse for everything.
is the
You don't
doctor,
seem like you want to change.
the doctor?
Somebody with medical.
Yeah, we have a medical staff there to testify. Do we?
I'm sorry.
Speak up.
Excuse me, could somebody with the staff there at the Louisiana State Penitentiary, would you tell us, is there a medical person in the room with us that could give us any insight?
I guess not.
Yeah, hold on, sir. There is, I'm trying to call him now. I don't know if they got good reception.
While we're waiting on him, I just want to let you know, probation and parole, if you go over there and sign up instead of just avoiding them every time, they'll help you.
No, I really don't know too much about jail system. My second time in jail. It's not that I ain't want to go. I was not the hospital. I ain't trying to make excuse. I couldn't go. I just got back on my food stamp, and I was trying to get my exercise. But I kept in touch with him. He could tell you that when I was at the rehab, I was at the group home, I was calling him. Somebody was supposed to bring me there. His name Hubert. He already knew that already, sir.
And then I got a question of, why did you just go punch the guy in the face? What did he do? Did he just look at you funny or something? Or why you picked him?
No, I don't remember hitting nobody, sir.
Well, you did. That's what.
Say something.
All right.
They're out there to say something. Yeah, they're asking for you guys to say something. No, we've been on this thing for about 15 minutes. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, board. Dr. Gamble and nurse practitioner divorce, they're gonna chime in right now as to your questions.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And that's why you can see.
I'm just at a persistence cost. Yes, sir. Okay, is medical. Okay. Was that the medical folks?
They should be coming in now, sir. I did call them and they said they were gonna chime in.
This is right there. This is right there. In the room.
Yeah, no, I saw them come on and it seemed like there was somebody sitting by the tables.
Oh, that again, the room.
Yeah. Mr. Moore. There you
There you go, right there.
Okay.
Go ahead and log them on.
They can hear them.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Thank y'all for hopping to and being able to talk to us. Are y'all familiar with this Mr. Edwin Lee?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you give us a little insight into what we're dealing with here? We're in the middle of a revocation hearing and trying to decide what's best for the public and best for him and best for everyone concerned. So tell us what you know about him and his condition.
Are you interested in his psychiatric condition, Mr.
Yes.
Prater?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Dr. Matthew Gamble. I'm a psychiatrist out of Angola. Myself and Ms. Dubois, who is a nurse practitioner specializing in mental health, been taking care of Mr. Lee for some years at this point. Mr. Lee is diagnosed with schizophrenia. And he's been under my care during multiple incarcerations, both here at Angola and at Hunt over the course of over a decade. He takes an injectable antipsychotic medication known as Invega Sustenna. He takes the maximized dose of that medication. He also takes oral antidepressants and antipsychotics, I believe. And both of those medications are also largely at their maximum. Despite maximized psychiatric medication management, Mr. Lee, continues to have trouble with his mental health. He also has trouble with his behavior, even at best on maximized mental health care. So that's something that's been going on with Mr. Lee for as long as I've known him. And as I said, I've known him over a decade. So he's continued to struggle with his mental health. He has gotten better, but that's basically where we are. He is housed in our acute on chronic mental health area of Angola, known as the treatment unit, or the TU, in our mental health specialized program. And he has been since his reincarceration in August of 2025.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, thank you, doctor, and thank you and your staff for getting together so quickly and being able to answer our questions. We were wanting a little bit more insight, and thank you very much for that.
Yes, sir. Did you have any other questions?
I think that's pretty much, Mr. Burrow.
When he's out on the street, where is he assigned to go get a shot or whatever? I'm sure we don't just turn him loose and say you're on your own, huh?
No, sir. When he was discharged from Angola, previously, you'd have to remind me exactly when that was, but he was placed under what's called a physician's emergency certificate, or a PEC, meaning that he was sent from Angola to the emergency room, I believe in Baton Rouge, under I executed that PEC saying that he was, mentally ill. And then the coroner's deputy at the hospital agreed with that. He was sent to a hospitalization. That hospitalization went on for some time after he was discharged from Angola. And at some point, either during the hospitalization, they either discharged him or something perhaps happened within the hospital setting. I'm not sure on that. But he was not just, released from our care. He was placed in a hospital from the time that he left.
Okay. Thank you. I don't
Yes,
have any
sir.
other.
No other questions?
No, I don't.
Thank you very much, doctor. Appreciate that. Appreciate it very much. Mr. Attorney, anything else that you'd like to say?
No.
Think it's time for us to vote.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Lee, I have no choice thinking about public safety, but to order that your parole be revoked and that you continue there with your mental health care, and that you follow all the instructions that they give you. Looks like you had a chance, but you couldn't complete it. So that's my vote.
My vote also is to revoke, and I concur with Mr. Barra.
Okay, and also my vote is to revoke on violation of condition number 4, I believe it is, and number 1. And so therefore, your parole as of 9:23 this morning has been revoked. Good luck. End of hearing, 9:23. Okay, good morning. The date is May the 13th, 2026. We're continuing hearings from Baton Rouge Department of Corrections. This is where we're located. You can see from our name tags who we are, and this is about our third or fourth hearing this morning. So we'll continue these. The time is 9:33 in the morning. We're talking to Louisiana State Penitentiary, Ezekiel McGinnis. Is that correct, Mr. McGinnis?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what is your DLC number, sir?
407119.
Okay, good, good. And let's see, what we want to do, Mr. McInnes, is we're going to talk to you for a few minutes and then have you do an opening statement for us about what got you where you are and what you've done since you've been there. And then we're going to talk to the warden or someone from the facility. And I noticed you've got some supporters behind you. I don't know if any of them are going to be speaking. I know that let's see, Kevin Jenkins is on Zoom and he's going to speak on your behalf. And Kerry Myers, and I'm not going to forget Mr. Myers this morning, he's going to be speaking for Louisiana Parole Project, and he'll be speaking on your behalf. And then we'll conclude it with Mr. Philip Terry, the Rep HDA, who is here at headquarters, who will be speaking. And then we will ask you a few more questions, and then we will make our decision from there. And so we'll start off, Mr. McInnes. Tell us why you're there. Why are we talking to you this morning?
How y'all doing today?
Doing good, sir.
I would like to let you know that it's an honor to be in front of you. I appreciate this opportunity. But I'm here today because I committed an armed robbery on December 5th of 2005. And it was something that I really do regret. And I know I caused a lot of harm to Mr. Frost and his family. And I take all responsibility for that because that's a decision I regret to this day. It's something that at a time when my business was kind of like on the down slope, I made a bad choice and it ended up in a way that I never expected it to turn out. But because of the programming that Angola has provided for me, I'm able to see the difference between the things I was doing then and the things I was doing now. Because I went in as a small business owner that was unprepared. I didn't do any research on the business that I was going into. So that led to me facing the problems that I face. But now I understand that if you're going to get into something that's of that magnitude, you need to do a lot of research. So it's a lot of things I've done since being in here, since learning, that I'm taking action toward if I'm granted parole that I'm going to do. I've learned a lot of good skills in here. I'm ASC certified in painting and refinishing. I got a forklift driver certification from Honda. And I also worked at CDC warehouse where I acquired a lot of work skills in the warehouse. So if I get a warehouse job, I'll be able to use those skills also. So, you know, it's a lot I've learned here because the young man that was unprepared and didn't know is not the same man you see today.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate you saying that, and we'll get back with you with some more questions, I'm sure, in just a little bit. And from the facility there, is the warden in the room or anyone with the facility in the room there?
Yes.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. Would you tell us about this, Mr. McGinnis, and what kind of fellow he's been since you've known him?
So Ezekiel McGinnis is a minimum A trustee. He's assigned to work at our AS&R, which is our automotive place that we fix the state vehicles and stuff, which is a pretty trustee job. He has a total of 13 DB reports. His last report being in July 24th of 2025 for a Rule 31F, and that's a low court write-up for Alta JPay tablet. He completed 100-hour pre-release Cage of Rage, Celebrate Recovery, Victim Awareness. He did his victim letter training, T4C, Inside Out Dad. He did Tupuku, which is the only person you could cheat is you, Moral Compass, Conflict Management, and he has a certificate in collision repair. His Tiger is low. Mr. McGinnis is very respectable. He respects all the institutional rules. So I have no problem about Mr. McGinnis.
Okay, I didn't understand completely about that discipline. Tell me again about that.
Okay, so he got a write-up because they have these little tablets similar to an iPad, and it has several screws missing in it. And when the officer checked the iPad, when they checked the JPay tablet, she noticed the screws missing, so she ended up turning it into investigative services to see if it was jailbroke or anything. It wasn't jailbroke, where he could get on the internet, but it was altered. So anytime the screws are missing in the tablet, that means you altered the tablet in some type of way.
Okay, is that what they do when they turn them into a lighter?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. They turn their e-cigarettes into a lighter.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But he can speak more on his report. He can tell you more what he did to the tablet if you would ask him.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
All right, we'll get to that in just a little bit. I'd like to hear from Mr. Kevin Jenkins, I believe right now, Mentor Prison Ministry. Mr. Jenkins, you're on Zoom with us, correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay, tell us what you know about Mr. McInnes and what you want us to hear this morning.
Yes, sir. I appreciate this opportunity to speak to the board and also to speak in behalf of Mr. McGinnis. I started a prison ministry through my church out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I started that ministry shortly after 2014. And when I met Ezekiel, at that time, he was at the main prison where I met several inmates. And he was one of the men that stood out with me because of his skills and with his hands, with hobbycraft and things of that nature. Also, I noticed that he was very attentive doing services. A lot of times I was asked to speak. A lot of times I was asked just to help facilitate Bible studies with the men there in Angola. And Ezekiel was always played a vital role in asking questions and making positive comments. Also, when he transferred to Camp F, I continued that ministry over at Camp F with a small group of men. And we just basically did a Bible study. And he was there each Saturday. I went every fourth Saturday of the month. And each Saturday that I participated, he was always there. I never known him to miss because of non-compliance within the prison setting. He was always on time for call out, always dressed appropriately, and always gave vital input. And so I'm really proud to speak on his behalf because I'm one that believes in rehabilitation rehabilitation because of my training educationally, what I've been taught, and what I've been involved in volunteering, helping other men develop appropriate social and coping skills to deal with their current situation, whether it's in prison or whether outside of prison.
Okay, well, thank you. We appreciate that very much there, Pastor. And thank you for the work that you do and everything that you do for the prison system. Mr. Myers.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We're here on behalf of Ezekiel McGinnis. Ezekiel stood out to us for several reasons. Number one is he's been a trustee and maintained that trustee status for now over a decade. He's held responsible positions. Right now, he works at ASNR as the warden told you. He's also worked at the front gate. And again, not everyone is trusted in that way. He is a dog trainer. He works for the PAW service dogs for veterans. Again, not something that everybody gets to do. His programming has been extensive. He has finished collision repair and painting. He's very employable at 50 years old. He's still very employable. Parole Project is here to support his transition. In that transition through after 20 years of incarceration, make sure he has all the documentation he needs to go to work, to be employed. We will make sure he has the life skills that he needs to adjust to life after prison. That includes financial training, time management, goal setting. He'll have an evaluation through our social workers for any specific needs, additional needs and referrals he might have. He'll have technology training. He'll have the things that he needs to adjust. The board knows our program very well. Mr. McGinnis has shown that, through his incarceration there, that he is a person who can follow the rules. We expect Mr. McGinnis to be the same. Consistency, he's shown consistency. We expect him to continue to be consistent. And so we would ask this board to consider those factors and let Parole Project help Mr. McGinnis transition to study.
Okay, Mr. Myers, thank you for your input and what your organization does for us, and we appreciate that. Let's see, Mr. Philip Terrell, who is the esteemed district attorney at Refuge Parish. Would you talk to us, sir?
Yes, sir. Good morning, members. Good to be here all today. Refuge Parish DA's office and the rest of the Refuge Parish law enforcement community, as you can see from the letters that were written by the various chiefs of police and by the sheriff, are adamantly opposed to McGinnis' grant of pardon now. It's a very violent crime. We had an extensive record. In fact, it obtained the parish obtained a habitual offender conviction after the armed robbery. He has this particular case, Mr. McGinnis committed an armed robbery on an armored car in downtown Alexandria in the morning. Tons of people around. He had an AK-47 assault rifle, a handgun, and a bulletproof vest. He came prepared for battle, and it was an extremely dangerous situation. One of the armored truck car drivers was Mr. McGinnis' cousin. He was also arrested for conspiracy, although he was never convicted. It was his bulletproof vest that Mr. McGinnis had in his victim. One of the other victims, Mr. Frost, we all have seen his opposition. He suffers today from PTSD from that experience. It's affected his family, and I think there's a letter from his wife. I know another one from his wife. I think there might be one from his daughter about how this has affected them for the last 20+ years. Mr. McGinnis was convicted by a jury and was sentenced to 50 years. So we're not even to the halfway mark yet. And our position of Parish law enforcement in the district attorney's office is because of the terribly heinous nature of this crime and the extreme danger that placed all the citizens of downtown, who were in downtown Alexandria, the ensuing automobile chase when the police went after him. All those things have to be taken into consideration. I'm not sure that I quite understood Mr. McGinnis' statement about the reason that he committed this because he had a business problem. I submit to y'all that there are thousands of businesses and small business owners who go bankrupt across the country to Louisiana on a daily basis, and they don't commit armed robberies of armed cars. Justice to the victims and the danger to the public. Without other circumstances, cry out for this Mr. McGinnis' request to be denied at this time. I won't belabor any of the other times because I know that y'all have read them. We just want to come personally express the Refuge Parish law enforcement office. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your attendance and what you had to say. Okay, Mr. McGinnis, now's the time where we get to flesh out a little bit more about what you did and why you did it. And I'll lead the questioning, and then my co-folks here will chime in, and they'll have their own questions to ask you. I was curious, bring up the bad things first. You're a fourth offender, correct?
Once I got the habitual bill, it added another class of offender to me, which would put it at the number 4.
Okay, so what were the other charges against you?
I have a drug charge.
They were all drugs?
One other drug charge.
Okay, well, one other drug charge, an armed robbery, and then the habitual offender, that's only 3.
Yes, sir.
Is that all there was?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What were you trying to do to the tablet that we mentioned?
We buy the tablets at, I think, $115. They give us a 90-day warranty on them. I was past my 90 days. I dropped my tablet and the jack at the bottom where you plug your earbuds in at.
Yes, sir.
It had shifted some kind of way, so I couldn't listen to my music when I put it in there. I let a guy in the hobby shop fix it. I guess when he put it back together, he didn't put 2 screws in it.
Okay.
It was just missing a couple of screws.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I didn't want to, I'll be honest, I didn't want to pay another $115. So I felt like I'd rather pay the guy to fix the jack and do it like that.
Yes, I understand. But that explains that. You didn't mention the trauma that the victim, not your cousin, but the other victim went through. You didn't mention anything about that. Have you taken any victim awareness classes?
Yes, sir, I have. See, trauma, it affects the victim. It affects everybody that's a part of what the situation is. You might not believe it, but it also affects us. Because when you take victim awareness, if you really understand it, you see the broader side. You see more to the picture. Because my going in view was, this only affects me and the victim. I'm gonna have to do the time if I'm caught. But going through the course, you learn more. It affected Mr. Frost. It affected Mr. Frost's family. It affected that business. It also affects the community. It affected my family because my family travels down that long road. They doing this time with me. And that's an aspect I never thought about. Because if I'd have thought about that, I definitely wouldn't have done what I done because I don't want to put them through that. I just was thinking I was solely going to be the bearer of all of the burden. But victim awareness has showed me that's not how it goes.
Well, good. That's a good rendition of what victim awareness classes are supposed to do. That and other things, but that's a good synopsis of it. Okay. And you came before the pardon board and you were granted a commutation of sentence with immediate parole eligibility in 21. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you hadn't been before the parole board other than this one time?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Correct. Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have.
How long have you been a trustee?
I think maybe 13 years.
How old were you when this crime occurred?
33.
You're 33 years old?
Yes, sir.
What kind of business is it that you had?
I had a clothing store.
A what?
A clothing store.
Clothing store?
Yes, sir.
Okay, were you on drugs at the time? Were you doing drugs?
No, sir.
You weren't doing drugs?
No, sir.
Okay, if you were released, what would you do?
I want to go to truck driving school. I want to drive some trucks because there's a high demand for truck drivers. And the way things are going, I can see me being a real good fit for that. I can also see me learning under a couple of years with a company and starting my own company.
So you're not going to get back into the clothing business?
No, sir. No, sir. No more clothes.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Y'all covered all the questions I'm gonna have.
Okay, and I might note for the for the record that Mr. Robert Murphy is here also, and he's with the District Attorney's Office. So he's not going to be speaking, but he's here and accompanying the District Attorney from the Rapides Parish District Attorney's Office. Okay, that's all we have to talk about, and I get to vote first. I don't like to do that occasionally or ever. It's always easier to vote last, and see what everybody else thinks. So I got to vote first. And of course, you got to have a unanimous decision. And Mr. McGinnis, I think you've done excellent work there. And I just don't know that 20 years is enough time to have served on such a serious, long sentence that you have. And so my vote is to deny this request right now, but I hope to see you up as quickly as possible again. So that's my vote. Mr. Tillis?
Mr. McGinnis, it seems like you've done well. Kept your nose clean for a while. Trustee is good. I hope you continue the path that you're on. My vote today is going to be to grant.
Well, my vote really doesn't matter at this point, but I would concur with Mr. Prater. I think you're doing the right thing. I think you're heading in the right direction. The 44% to 20 years is just, you're not right there yet. But if you keep on doing what you're doing, I see you getting out. So
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but there's a light real close to the end of the tunnel, okay? I want to encourage you for that. And anyway, as of today at 9:55, this request has been denied. End of hearing. Okay, good morning. The time is 10:06. The date is May the 13th, 2026. We're continuing our hearings from Baton Rouge, Department of Corrections headquarters. We are going to talk to Mr. Jerry Stiles, who is at the Allen Correctional Center. And Mr. Danny Barra is going to be handling the interview. This is a parole violator rehearing that we're going to be talking to. So, Mr. Stiles, would you tell me what your DOC number is?
394-395.
Okay, and you don't have an attorney representing you, is that correct?
That's correct.
But you could have hired one, I mean, you're ready to proceed without an attorney, correct?
Right.
Okay. And so we are here on the parole violation rehearing. And so, would the staff from Allen Correctional Center introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Assistant Warden Jesse Bellamy.
Assistant Warden Crystal Simon. Jessica Manual Classifications.
Okay, well, thank you very much for hosting us today. We appreciate that very much. Okay, there's going to be two people that we're going to speak in support. Mr. Jeremy Gotru, if I'm saying that correct, your best friend, and Jesse Matheny, your brother. And so we'll take your best friend first. Jeremy, are you on Zoom and ready to talk to us? Yes, sir. Is that you, Jeremy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you talk to us and tell us what's on your mind about your best friend?
Well, Mr. Stiles, I've been knowing him for a very long time, and I suffer with several little issues with mental health and medical issues. But besides that, Mr. Stiles has been a very good friend. He's been there in time of need, financially a lot of times, and the man will give you the shirt off his back, basically. And he's very good with mechanics, and he's taught me a lot of things with mechanics and actually sewing and some leather work. And he's just an all-around good guy. He really is caring, and he's not selfish at all. He is very much so a very selfless person. He always thinks about the person that is in front of him more than he does himself. I've seen him go hungry before and help somebody with food before he would eat even. And he's just a all-around good person that I met, and I help him with some business things that he's planning on doing, and it's just good to know him. And whenever I need to talk to somebody, I'll send him an email and he'll call me and we can talk. And that's one of the biggest things I like about him. He's always there. He's never not gonna do something positive.
Okay, Jeremy, we appreciate that, and you sound like you're a good friend, and appreciate your comments. Okay, Mr. Jesse Mathena, who is the brother of Mr. Stiles, would you talk to us, please?
Okay, yes, I sure will. Hello.
Yes, sir, we hear you.
Okay. I'm 79 years old. He's 9 years and 1 day younger than me. Of course, I've known him all my life, but I haven't been around him all my life. But then, but he's always been the same person as far as I knew. He's, just like Jeremy said, he's just a good all-around guy. Nobody can understand and nobody can explain why he did the things that he did, but I'm sure in my heart of hearts, I'm sure that he is regretful and repentant, and nothing like that will or would ever happen around him with him again. So, I'd love him. He's my brother. What else could I do? When he was out before, when he was on parole before, I gave him some money to help him get started, get his license, and get his, get his place set up and everything. and I'm gonna do it again. But it's not gonna be as much this time because I'm not working anymore. I've retired, but I'm still gonna help him again. Like I said before, I love him. He's my brother, and there's not really much else I can say except he's just a good all-around guy, like Jeremy said.
Okay, well, we appreciate those
Let me
comments.
ask you a question. Where do you live? Sir,
I live in a little town just southeast of Mobile, Alabama.
okay, okay, thank you.
Okay, well, now, Mr. Barra, I think it's your turn to lead the question.
All right, Mr. Stiles, would you go ahead and tell us what you did to get yourself in this kind of trouble, and why do you think now is the time that we should be releasing you early again?
The original charge, sir, or the parole violation?
Both of them, everything.
Well, the original charge was aggravated incest. I had an inappropriate relationship with one of my daughters. The parole violation, I was working for a company delivering product to the job sites, construction company. We had a job in Mississippi that had to be done. I made arrangements with the parole officer to get my paperwork to make my trip. For the morning of the trip, I forgot to stop and pick up my paperwork before I went to Mississippi. When I came back, he said, "Don't worry too much about it. I made it over there and back, and I had this permission to go." A few days later, a sheriff department come down and did the annual review on my phone to see where I've been and all that. And the little sheriff, she found the trip. And she wouldn't hear it any other way, but she wanted the paperwork, which we didn't have because I didn't stop and pick it up and we didn't process it. So she violated my parole, and here I am today.
That is only partially what I'm seeing, so I'll go ahead and fill in the blanks. It says, for the instant offense, you admitted to having sex with your own daughter, Jessica, approximately 10 to 15 times when she was 12 years old. You said that he liked it and she also liked it. Then when you were paroled on January 12th of 17, you got back in trouble again and were revoked on May 24th, 19 for traveling out of state. That's the part you did say, without permission. But you were also going on prohibited social media websites for sexual pleasure, and you did not attend substance abuse treatment, and you had a positive drug test. So there was a little bit more to the story than what you said there. So go ahead. The second part of your question was, why do you think now's a good time to release you?
Well, sir, I wasn't aware of the other aspects of the parole violation, especially the drug thing, because I don't do any drugs. So I don't know how I came up with a positive. I have completed every program that Allen has available for me. I am in the sex offender treatment program. I'm at level 3 now. I've been through that program 3 times already. I've got about another 8 months or so before I'll complete the course again. But as long as I'm on parole, I still have to show up for the meetings and go through the treatment. And I understand that. I'm hoping that I can get back out and become a productive member of society again and put everything to use that I have learned over this last 7 years and beyond to make myself a better person.
How long have you been incarcerated?
This time, 7 years. Total time, 26.
Total time 26.
Yes,
what kind of guy is he? Warden? Oh, that's the warden question.
Oh, sorry, though. How you doing?
Good.
He's fairly a good inmate. He had, zero, write-ups. Since he's been here, he has completed several, courses. He worked for us in the laundry. He does a lot of good things for us. So he's been pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Steve?
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
I'd like to go into executive session, please. Okay.
Got a motion and a second to go into executive session at 10:17. And there is no objection to that. So as of 10:17, we'll be in executive session. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thank you. Okay, the time is now 10:19. We're back in regular session. If we have a motion and a second. Got a motion and a second, and no opposition to going back into regular session. It's now 10:20 in the morning. So we're in regular session, and I think it's time to vote. We discussed some procedural matters. And Mr. Barra?
Yep, reviewing the case, Mr. Stiles, we have some very strong opposition from law enforcement regarding the sex crime. We do have some support from family and friends in the other side. You had a chance already on parole and you didn't take advantage of that one and committed more violations. You leave me not much choice but to deny this parole request. Continued criminal behavior while on supervision was not a good thing.
Okay, Mr. Tillis.
My vote is to deny also, and I concur with Mr. Barra.
And I concur with Mr. Barra also. So at this particular time, your request has been denied, and you will stay in the custody of the Allen Correctional Center or wherever DLC chooses. 10:21 is the time, and the date is May 13th, 2026. End of hearing.
And, you know, I'll put you back out there, and we gotta look at you and mail where you go, you know. Oh, no. So I'm one of these, okay, like, the difference, you know, whether it's just everything else, but he and is telling you.
Yeah, but I can't get the volume to work.
Wait.
Okay. Hello? See, oh, hers is muted.
Oh, yeah, I have 2 officers today.
Yeah, I think they're muting us. I think that.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm not looking back. Hey, I'm gonna hang out right here. Mom, James. You sound like Peanut. Oh, Mr. James. What's up with you? Oh, yeah, you used to live behind my house. Oh, yeah, and then when they camp. Mr. James, tell me what Dylan said the first time he said it. Yeah.
Okay, good morning. The time is 10:26. The date is May the 13th, 2026. We're speaking from Baton Rouge. We've been having hearings all day long. You can see from our name tags who we are on the Committee on Parole. So I won't introduce ourselves individually. You are Marie Touchet, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what is your DOC number?
106392.
That's not what I have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my. I'm not quite sure. I don't have it.
Does 753915 sound right?
I'm guessing I don't have a paper with it on it.
Do
Around.
Do you have a waiver form in front of you that you signed?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Okay, you do have an attorney that will be speaking on your behalf. But is anybody from the Boyles Parish Detention Center in the room with you?
They're right there. They're talking to somebody at the moment. You want me to get them?
Yes, ma'am. We need to confirm who you are.
Okay.
Okay, what is the last 4 digits of your Social Security?
7290.
Does that sound right? Man. That pulled up. Is that correct? Okay, that's correct. And you are Marie Touchet, if I'm saying it right, Touchet.
Yes, sir.
All right, there's the waiver, and it doesn't look like you signed it. But were you presented that and had a chance to fill it out?
Yes, sir. And the copy I have has a signature on it. So I
Has
don't
your
know if you-
signature on it?
Sir?
It has, the copy you have has your signature on it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, well, we'll go ahead and, we want to introduce your attorney who is with us also. Your attorney is Tameril Hills. May not be saying that correctly. Hi there, how are you?
I'm fine, Your Honor. How are you?
Feel free to interrupt or to inject anything that you'd like to. You're going to be the one speaking on her behalf in addition to her speaking. So we'll interview her first and then talk to you, but you can interrupt us at any point if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll let you have a closing statement. Mr. Danny Barra is the one that's going to be handling this case. So Mr. Barra, would you talk to us, please, sir?
Yeah, it's alleged that you have violated the condition of your parole in the following manner: that you failed to report to the Lafayette District Office of Probation and Parole within 48 hours of your release. How do you plead to that violation? Did you report to Lafayette within 48 hours?
Sir, I don't know. This is not correct because the last time I got out, I went to the last time I went to the probation and parole in Lafayette, I had gotten a day pass to go to Texas and go before the board. That was the last time that I done this.
You have a copy of that pass with you?
No, sir, I don't have a copy of it with me. I have
Okay, well, so you plead guilty, not guilty, or one of those two with the statement?
not guilty.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. We'll come back and review that in a second.
Okay.
Number 2 says that you failed to submit monthly reports by the 1st and 5th day of each month and failed to report to Lafayette upon your release. How do you plead to that second one?
Not guilty.
That you were involved in criminal activity as evidenced by your arrest on December 3rd and charged with simple burglary in Vermilion Parish. That charge is scheduled for arraignment on 4/22, and as of 4/29, these charges are still pending. How do you plead to that one?
Not guilty.
All right. Let's go back to number 1. The parole officer there says you failed to report to Lafayette District within 48 hours of your release. That Officer Kaza provided a signed diminution of sentence, which was signed by Touchet on June 16th, 2025. And according to the diminution, she was released to a detainer in Acadia Parish on July 26, 25. She also cited the case narratives, which stated Touchet failed to report to the probation and parole office after release from Acadia Parish Jail on October 23rd, 25, and a warrant was issued for your arrest when you did not report. So go ahead and that's what we have. That's the evidence we have from the preliminary hearing. Go ahead and make your statement. Did you report after you got released from Acadia?
Not that I remember, but I ended up going to jail and doing a little time for that and got out. And then I went to go see my lawyer after that and had that expunged and all that because I owned the home. I had to go show paperwork.
But you didn't report to the parole office. That's what they're contending. That's the problem.
No, I have. Well, I don't have it with me, but I have paperwork on that too.
You didn't present it at the preliminary hearing and you don't have it today either?
Yeah, I don't have any of that with me.
All right. How about your attorney? Does your attorney have anything to say about violation number 1?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't have any information. No, sir.
Okay. All right. Violation number 2, that you'll report by the 5th of every month and complete a supervision report. Did you report to Lafayette District by the 5th of every month?
I mean, I thought all this was dropped. I don't know.
Obviously, it's not dropped. You might have had some of the charges that were pending. The little violation stuff might have been dropped, but the actual parole was still rolling and is right now.
So I'm on parole because I own my own home and I got trespassing charges there.
No, you're on parole because you committed unauthorized use of a movable sometime in the past and got convicted of that and then got released early on parole.
But
and then the other charges you're talking about, those are violations of that supervision.
I need explanation because I sued and I have I went to a lawyer. I had my record wiped. I've gone and done all this. I showed ownership of everything. I'm still trying to figure out why I keep on getting arrested on the same charges and all this other stuff when I own the vehicles. I showed my attorneys. I mean, I don't know who I'm having problems with.
You're not reporting to the right people. You need to be reporting to Jamie Kaza and Lafayette at probation and parole. That's who holds this case.
So
that's who's filed the complaints against this, and that's who held the preliminary hearing that you held on. You remember the preliminary hearing, right, at the Vermilion Parish Jail on January the 9th?
January the 9th.
That's the same. That hearing is what we're reviewing now. Once they held that hearing and they determined all these violations at that hearing, that's what they filed with us to have a parole hearing to decide about, well, will your parole be denied, mean revoked or not? So that hearing you had there, which they said you refused to sign stuff then too. So maybe, I don't know what happened. Maybe you did refuse to pay attention. I'm not sure what happened. But that's the hearing that we're talking about, January 9th, 2026, 9:30 a.m. at the Vermilion Parish Jail, where you, Jamie Kaza, Attorney Tremel Hill was there, and the arresting officer, Mr. Hardy, was not available to be present, but they had police reports about you and going to the house where you wasn't supposed to be. So that's where we at with that. We're reviewing those that hearing over again, pretty much. Same violation, same thing that y'all talked about then.
Okay. I mean, the only thing I can think of is I'd have to get in touch with Texas and get the parole or the parole board out there and see if they have copies of all the stuff I had let them make copies of, so they can send it to y'all.
Miss Ms. Hill, do you have anything to add on violation number 2?
No, sir.
All right. Violation number 4. You engage in criminal conduct as evidenced by your arrest on December the 3rd, 2025, for simple burglary in Vermilion Parish. And you had an arraignment on April 22nd, and parole officers down there checked with the DA's office. And as of April 29th, those charges are still pending. You don't have a scheduled court date on that yet.
Look, the only thing I can do is tell you that I have sued I'm sued. I do not want to talk to y'all anymore. I am done with this. Every time I turn around, you can't get a fucking piece of paper. You can't even get nothing right. You can't even contact a fucking lawyer and have them fucking
Calm down.
Not enough of it.
Settle down. Okay, we have muted you. I don't know if you can tell, but we have muted you because we don't want to listen to that.
But we are recording it, right?
Yes. Ms. Hill, is there anything that you would like to say?
I don't have any information about number 4.
What she's talking about when she says she sued, who's she suing? Who did she sue?
Who did she sue? I'm not exactly sure who she sued. It wasn't done through me.
Yeah, you were at that hearing in Vermilion Parish, right?
That's correct.
Did she ever talk to you about providing you any of those papers or getting ready for this hearing?
No, not providing me with papers about a suit. No.
And that hearing ended up.
I don't think she wanted to engage at that meeting.
So that hearing ended up kind of like this one?
Correct.
Ms. Hills, are you appointed or retained?
Appointed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. I
don't have any questions.
No questions.
No questions. Ready to vote?
Ready to vote.
All right. I find that based on the report of the preliminary hearing, she's violated condition number 1, number 2, and number 4. And for those reasons, I have no choice but to revoke the approval.
I concur with Mr. Barroy, 1, 2, and 4.
And likewise, I concur also, violation of conditions 1, 2, and 4. And that'll conclude this hearing at 10:40, and your parole has been revoked at this particular time.
All right.
It's gonna be nerve wracking. What's it? These. Shouldn't be too long. Yeah, I'll say that.
Okay, are you Mr. Antonio Brantley?
Yes, I am.
Okay, my name is Steve Prater, and you can see from our name tags who we are with the Committee on Parole. We've been in session since 8:30 this morning. It's now 10:49, and the date is May the 13th, 2026. We're going to be hearing your revocation case. You're at Lincoln Parish Detention Center, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is anybody in the room with you, any staff that's with Lincoln Parish Detention Center?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is Captain Randall Williams.
Okay, Captain, thank you for hosting us this morning. We appreciate that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brantley, what is your DOC number?
407779.
Okay, do you have a waiver form in front of you where you waived the fact that you were going to have an attorney to represent you this morning?
No, sir. I didn't waive. I didn't waive an attorney. I said I wanted one.
Okay, but you're not eligible for one, an appointed attorney, or one would be appointed to represent you.
Okay.
You see that form on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that means that you could have hired you one if you wanted one, but you didn't hire one, so we're gonna go ahead and have this hearing.
Okay.
Okay, all right, let's, your case has been assigned to me, and I'll make it short and simple, because when you get out of jail, you agree to abide by certain conditions. And one of the conditions is condition number 2, and it says you'll report to monthly meetings, and it says you didn't report since January of 2025. Are you guilty of that?
Well, that wasn't true. I had Miss Amanda at the time, and I was working, and because I had a hydroplaned in my vehicle that I had at the time, she was coming to see me on the job because they leave here in Ruston at 12. So by the time I take a lunch break at 12, she'll be leaving the office. So because I had to find a ride at my lunch break at 12, she would just, when she leave the office at 12, she was coming to see me.
Okay.
And that's Miss Amanda May.
All
And
right.
I only had Officer Reddick for like the last 3 months, like what, May, June, July. Yeah, 4 months, August.
Okay.
And
But did
he
you
was, sir.
Go ahead, you finish.
Oh, and he was doing the same. I seen him at the car wash where I was buffing out cars. And I seen him also at my residence. And I came into the office because he said he wanted me to come in and seen him. That was in July. And he wasn't in there. He hadn't left or something. But I did speak with Miss May. She said I had just missed him. And only month that I actually missed was August. And my aunt from Chicago, she should have sent emailed some papers or something over showing that I was in Shreveport because I had a job at Shreve City Collision Repair. That's what I do, body work and paint.
Okay.
I worked the whole time that I was there from 23 up into 25
to Miss May took leave because of her cancer situation, that she was coming to see me at my jobs. That's from Roseburg to Bradshaw's Paint and Body Shop, both Roseburg and Simsburg, and Bradshaw's Body Shop on Farmerville Highway here in Ruston. I mean, I'm here and I ain't got many people to work for me. I lost my mom in 2023 when I got out. And all of it is documentation though. Seeing Miss May the whole time come pulling up because there's cameras at both job sites. I mean, I only missed him literally 1 month. That's why I wanted to dispute that, but I never seen him since the first time I got locked up. So I didn't hear that until after. He never said anything about me not coming to see him, because I would have told him, how is you saying that when I didn't even have you? I had Miss May, and she was the one said to help me out because of my traveling arrangement, that she was coming to see me
Okay, what about?
on the job site.
Okay, but you understand you have to report to the parole officer. Officer doesn't have to report to you. You understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. What about changing your address without notifying them? Did you ever do that?
Yes, but it's because I had to. I was living with my aunt, and me and her, we got into a dispute, or argument, and basically I left to go stay with another aunt of mine while I was transitioning to the job in Shreveport that I was telling you about, in that Shreve City Collision Repair.
Right. Well, how long did it take you to finally, did they have to track you down at your new address, or did you finally tell them where you were staying?
Well, Mr. Reddick came to see me at my previous address at the 1305 Wyoming Street, and he found out that I wasn't living there anymore, and he put a warrant or something out for me. When I found out about it, I called him over the phone, and I spoke with him over the phone, and my aunt from Chicago did as well, and he uplifted the whole. But I came here, like, I want to say like 14 or 2 weeks after I had talked to him. I want to say it was like August the 2nd I talked to him.
Okay. How long had you been gone from your previous address?
I had been gone away from that for like about two months, something like that. But I had seen him while I wasn't at the address. I seen him at the car wash I was telling you about, while I was buffing out cars over
Okay.
on California Street.
All right. Well, let's go into this other case. Number 4 says that you'll avoid any kind of criminal activity, and you were arrested on a bench warrant for disturbing the peace. And you were also charged at that time with possession of methamphetamine, possession of marijuana, and resisting by giving a false name to law enforcement. Is that true or not?
That's true, but that was 2 separate occasions.
Yes, sir. I understand that. The bench warrant was one thing, and when they went to serve the bench warrant, then they found these other things on you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But on the methamphetamine possession that they charged me with a possession, my lawyer said he gonna get that thrown out, but because only thing they had was a receipt. They didn't have no physical drug. They had a receipt paper. It's even in my court minutes that he talking about. He tested the receipt paper, and the receipt did test positive for methamphetamine, like it was on it or whatnot. But he didn't get no physical drug off of me, like, you know.
Well, that's pretty much, it was in your car, correct?
It wasn't even my car. It was a car that I was going to paint for a customer.
Okay. But it was in the, anyway, we won't get into all that. We'll leave that up to the courts to fool with.
Okay.
But the case is a little different than what you saying. And what about resisting by giving a false name?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I did give a false name because, like I said, I needed the money, you know, to help me out on my living situation, and I didn't want to have to go to jail because I knew I had the failure to appear on the traffic violation and on the one you just said disturbing the peace.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So yeah, I did try and avoid going to jail because I needed the money at the time, and I figured if I had the bond out of jail, well, it would have been a setback for me. And I think that's why, because I lied to my name, I think that's why he charged me with a possession without having a physical drug, because that's the truth. I didn't have no physical drug. He said he was going to test the receipt paper. I just got a lawyer 3 weeks ago, and I just spoke with him, and it's supposed to be getting thrown out.
What about the marijuana charge?
I did have the 2 grams of marijuana. That I told him right there on the spot. I said, yeah, I told him I don't know nothing about the methamphetamine, but the 2 grams of marijuana, that's mine.
Okay. And you're on parole for a firearm possessed by a felon, correct?
Yes, sir. I had a guy threatening me because he, like I say, I paint cars, and he didn't pay me all my money, and he threatened me like he was going to come try and harm me and basically take his car. So I had, got a firearm just to protect myself. And the guy got wind that I had protection, and he called the police knowing that I'm also a felon, and the police pulled up on me and caught me with the gun. But
And to be a felon, what were you a felon? How were you a felon? What had you been charged with?
I had a simple possession of cocaine. I had a simple robbery when I was 16 years old.
Okay. You're a third-class offender. You've been on parole before. You know
No, it's
how,
my first time being on parole. I've been on probation, and I done completed probation, 5-year probation twice in my life, and the 3-year, 2 5s and a 3. This would be my first time being revoked.
okay. Okay.
I was on 5-year probation for the simple robbery. I completed it. I done been on 3 for the simple possession of cocaine. I completed it, and I was on 5, I think, for for what was that? Second degree battery, and I completed it.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions.
I don't have any, no question.
Okay. Okay, it's my turn to vote first, because this case was assigned to me. And I think that you'd be very hard to supervise, Mr. Brantley. And I hate to give you this time back in jail, but it's my opinion that it's best served that your parole be revoked because
Okay.
of violations of 2, 3, and 4. That's my vote. Mr. Tillis?
My vote is to revoke on the same counts.
I concur for the same reason.
Okay, as of 11:02 this morning, your parole has been revoked.
Yes, sir. That's it, huh?
Okay, we are at the Department of Corrections headquarters. This is the Committee on Parole. The time is 11:21 and the date is May the 13th. We've been doing hearings all morning. And you can see from our name tags who the Committee on Parole is this morning. They'll be hearing your case. I assume we're looking at Mr. Jason England. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. England, what is your DOC number?
730631.
Okay. And you were at the Vernon Parish Jail, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is anybody in there with you from Vernon Parish?
Yes, sir. As a guard.
Would he introduce himself or she introduce herself?
Deputy Warden with Barton Parish Sheriff's Office.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. England, do you have a waiver or a in front of you that you signed talking about an attorney questionnaire?
I got some paperwork. It just say about my violations and all that.
But you've got a questionnaire in front of you, correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And you signed it.
Yes, sir, but I signed it on the spot. I didn't know what I was signing. Why did I sign it at the time for a counselor and all that stuff?
Okay. All right. Well, your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis, and he's going to be talking to you and then call on somebody to talk in opposition to this effort. And so, Mr. Tillis.
Good morning. How are you, Mr. England?
I'm fine, sir.
I'm going to read some violations and you can plead guilty, not guilty, or with a statement. Violation number 4, you engaged in new criminal conduct evident by your arrest by the Leesville Police Department on or about 1/11/2026 for simple assault. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Not guilty with a statement?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what happened.
All I know was one night I ran into my sister and we had words. I was going off my medicine and going through some things and trying to get my check back on. And we got into it and had words, but I never harmed her and I never meant anything about it. I went on by my business. We had words, we cussed each other out. So I don't know what she went back and said, but that's my statement.
You never hit her?
I never touched her. I went on about my business and she went her.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Violation number 8, you were instructed to take your prescribed medications and refer to mental health evaluations on 12/5/2025, and you failed to follow up with recommendations.
Not guilty.
I'm sorry, what did you guys say?
I was not guilty of that.
Not guilty? What happened?
I went to the follow-ups and I explained to the parole officer they charged that when I went down there, they had released me out of St. Patrick's Catholic Hospital. And they didn't want to hear none of that. And they sent me to this place called the Lord's Place, somewhere down in Lake Charles on 17th Street. When I went down there, they told me to stay down there. When I went down there to talk to people, they didn't want to say that to me. They pulled off in a van. When they pulled off, 4 or 5 people came at me trying to attack me. So I had to fight them off and leave. And I called the police and explained to them I was going through things traumatized to where I went to the mental hospital. So when I got to the mental hospital, I went back to the parole office explaining to them, but they didn't want to hear it. We had gotten an argument about it because they're playing mind games and lying to me about my situation. And they kicked me out of the parole office. That's when I left and came back down here.
They kick you out?
They kicked me out. They kicked me out of the parole office that day.
Why did they do that? Why did they kick you out?
We had an argument that they was lying and they didn't want to take none of the paperwork. And I explained to them that I had got out the hospital out of St. Patrick's Catholic Hospital.
Okay.
They didn't want to take none of my paperwork and they was playing mind games because they know I take medicine. And they kept lying.
Okay.
So we got in an argument about that, and they kicked me out. So then I left walking, trying to walk back to leave, and I ran out of energy and started seeing things. So I got admitted to a hospital again when the ambulance came, and I was in some hospital in Lake Charles, and I came back down here to medicated.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And violation number 10, you have a fee of arraignment of $126. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay. We have someone who is going to speak as a victim. Yes, I guess it's a victim, Crystal England. Is she there? Miss Crystal? Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, what do you want to tell us?
I want to say what he's saying is a lie. He said we got into an argument. That's a lie. I have my 8-year-old daughter that was with me that night. Only thing I was trying to do with my 8-year-old daughter is walk to the store. When I walked outside the gate, I did not say nothing to my brother, nothing at all. I'm walking outside the gate. He's riding in the middle of the road on a bike with a long stick. And as I'm proceeding to walk, I see him kept circling in the middle of the road. So as I'm proceeding to walk, he got to cussing me out, talking about I sent my sons to jail and all this extra. All I told him was to leave me alone. He told me, FUB, call the police, they gonna find your body in the woods. So I took my 8-year-old, we proceed to go the other way and went the other way to walk in the store. And then they had video camera of the store. I proceed to go the other way to walk in the store with my 8-year-old child. He came inside the store, cussing me out in front of everybody, the employees, even the customers. So I just don't, all I can say is they have that on video as well. Like when I walked outside the gate with my child, he shouldn't have said nothing to me, nothing. If I didn't say nothing to him, he shouldn't have said nothing to me. And that whole thing about me and him getting into an argument, that's a lie. The only thing I was trying to do is walk to the store with my 8-year-old. He proceeded to say something to me first. Then I still ignored him and told him to leave me the F alone. I was going to call the police. That's when he proceeded to tell me, FUB, call the police. They're going to find my body in the woods. Then I left.
Do you live together?
No, we do not.
He does not live with you?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Any of my colleagues have any questions?
No.
I just have one for Mr. England.
Yes, sir.
On condition number 4, it says that you pled guilty to that charge in Vernon Parish. But you say you're innocent of it. Why did you plead guilty if you're innocent of it?
They said that I would get time for credit serve and go home. That's the reason why.
Who's they? Who's they?
The
The lawyer?
Some guard.
A guard?
Yes, sir. Named Captain Williams.
He gave you some bad information. That's the only question on that.
Okay. Have you been taking your medication?
I was trying to get my check back on and my medication, I had to wait till I get the check on to get the medication. Is that CVS. So that's why I haven't been on it yet.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to vote. Okay. My vote today is going to be to revoke your to revoke for violation number 4, 8, 4, and 8.
And I concur with Mr. Tillis violating condition number 4 by being convicted of a new crime.
And I concur, violations of conditions 4 and 8. As of today at 11:31, your parole has been revoked. Thank you, sir. Richardson. Mr. Richardson, is that you I'm looking at? You're on mute, sir. All right. Thank you, sir. Can you hear me, Mr. Richardson?
Yes, sir, I can.
And I can hear you. And what is your DLC number, sir?
187, sir.
Okay, thank you. And do you have a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, sir, I do.
And did you sign that and you're ready to proceed ahead?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis, and he's on my left, and he's going to begin the questioning.
Good morning, Mr. Richardson. How are you?
Mr. Tillis?
I'm going to read some violations and you can plead guilty, not guilty, or with a statement.
Okay.
Violation number 2. You last reported to office on 4/16/25. How do you plead?
Guilty, sir.
Okay. Violation number 3. You failed to remain at your listed resident on Short Street, Leesville, Louisiana. Last contact listed resident on 5/29/25, and multiple attempts failed, and offender failed to report. Offender's whereabouts were unknown until his arrest on 2/11/26. How do you plead?
Not guilty, sir, with a statement.
Not guilty?
No, sir, I live in 702 Short Street. I've been there since 1972. I was working in Monroe. My sister, she's a property manager. I do temporary maintenance work for the company. Me and my sister both have gave them the address where I'll be at if I'm not at 702 Short Street. I'm down in Bastrop with my sister. We had both talked with the parole officer, allowing him to know where I would be at because I live alone. You know, my wife passed away about 5 years ago, so I live alone. I had gave them the address where I would be at in Bastrop, Louisiana. Also, my sister had talked with the parole officer also. It started out kind of messed up in the beginning. They had me paroled to Monroe, Louisiana. I do not live in Monroe. I live in Leesville at 702 Short Street. When I got out on parole, they dropped me off, a bus dropped me off in Alexander. I called a ride to Leesville, okay? When I called the probation, they said, no, you need to report to Monroe. I went to Monroe and I reported in Monroe. They took my fingerprints, took pictures and everything, and told me that my parole officer, that's why we coming to report it. And I allowed them to know that I live in Leesville. I can't come back and file to Monroe to Leesville to report. So at that time, they said, well, okay. I said, well, listen, I want to get everything transferred to Leesville. They said, okay, it's no problem. So they took me to another office where they did the paperwork to transfer my parole from Monroe to Leesville because I don't have no address in Monroe. I never lived in Monroe. I don't know nothing about no Monroe. So the second month comes up, I go down there and I say, well, I came to pay. They said, well, you can't pay in cash. You have to have a money order. So I went and got a money order, came back. I said, well, what's going on with the transfer? They said, well, your paperwork has been sent to Leesville, and that's where you'll be reported from now on. So the following month, I come to Leesville, I go over there to the parole and probation office, okay, and I report. And I said, well, hey, who's my parole officer? They say, well, your parole officer is on leave. I'm quite sure y'all got documents, whoever he was. I've never seen a parole officer. They never took my fingerprints. I never had no picture ID. And also, they never gave me, I never had a designated parole officer. So the following month after that, a parole officer came by my house, Mr. Smith, I think his name was, and we made contact. And at the time I asked him, I said, well, hey, who am I supposed to be reporting to? I see 3 different people, you are the 4th one, and who am I supposed to report to? I said, I don't have no gas to go back to Monroe. And he said, well, we're waiting on the rest of the paperwork to get here. So at that time, he told me, I said, well, look, he said, well, listen, as long as you don't get into no trouble, Mr. Richardson,
If you have a problem, you call us. As long as you don't get into any trouble, okay, we'll contact you when we get the rest of the paperwork together. And I never heard anything else about parole because I've been there since 1972. I don't have no problem with reporting. I'm 69 years old, sir. I have no problem with reporting or paying. I just got my disability started to pay whatever I owe per month. I don't have any problem with doing that. I never was officially assigned a probation or parole officer. So I don't have a problem with following the guidelines of what I'm supposed to do here. You know, I just never was assigned. No one never gave me. The only time that they read me what I can do and what I couldn't do was when I was in Monroe, Louisiana. Up until maybe 3 weeks ago, the probation officer came over here to talk to me, and they read, well, Mr. Richard, you can't leave state, or, you know, you can't hang around these people, do this, that, and that. But that was the first time that I ever made contact with a parole officer. And I've been down there. I know y'all got documentation. I went down there and signed up 2 times. And the last time that the officer came by my house, he stated that, listen, we wait on the rest of your paperwork to get here. So as long as you don't get in no trouble, if you have any trouble, you allow me to know, and that's what it was.
I understand.
I have no
Just saying. Okay, let's go to violation number 4. In that on 3/11/26, you were arrested by Vernon Parish Sheriff's Office for misdemeanor theft. How do you plead?
I plead not guilty, sir. Well, I plead guilty with a statement. If I can explain to you what happened. I went out there to a salvage yard to get some parts. And they had some shoes that were out of an old car that was sitting on the desk. My son works out there. He's a crane operator at Harvey's Auto. They had some shoes they had got out of an old car, and they had them sitting on the desk. The guy who originally owned the shoes was sitting right beside me. I said, man, that's some nice looking tennis you got there. He said, yeah, man. He said it was sale. He said, why don't you try one on? So I tried one on. He said, man, it looks kind of tight. He said, try it on and see how they feel in your feet. I tried them on, and I stood up, and when I stood up, my phone rang. It was my sister-in-law calling me. One of my sister-in-laws had hit the other one in the head with a hammer, and it was gushing out blood. So I said, brother-in-law, my sister needs to go to the hospital. Please come and take her to the hospital. I don't know what to do. So I'm already standing up, and I'm on the outside talking to her to find out what's going on. So I just got in my truck. I still had the shoes on, and I drove to get her to take her to the hospital. Later on that night, the guy who owned the shoes called me. He said, hey, man, he said, you left with my shoes. I said, yeah, I had emergency came up. He said, well, man, you owe me $300 for these shoes. I said, no, I'm not going to pay you no $300 for those shoes. I said, I'll bring these shoes back in the morning when I come back home by the hospital. And the following morning, I brought him back the shoes and put them on the desk. Okay? And he never said, during the time when I brought him, he wasn't there. Mr. Harvey, who owns the business, said, hey, he was kind of mad because he left me the shoes. And I explained to Mr. Harvey what had occurred. So once he found out what had happened, he came down here and he wrote an affidavit saying that it was a mistake of the charge of the shoes, and he didn't want no charges to be pressed. The first time that he came down here, he said that the record had never been brought up about the charge being put on me about the shoes. So he wanted to write an affidavit stating that, you know, it was a misunderstanding about the shoes. But he couldn't do it at that time.
You took the shoes back?
Pardon me?
Took the shoes back to the guy?
The next morning. The very next morning, I returned the shoes. Okay.
The next morning. You took them back the next morning?
Yes, sir. I took him back the next morning, and he came down here, that was like over a year ago. He came down here a week before last and went to the district attorney's office and wrote an affidavit, had it notarized, and took one to the clerk of court saying that it was a misunderstanding about the shoes and he didn't want to press no charge.
Okay. Violation? What were you gonna say?
I'm never walk off with no shoes. Why would I? And he's sitting right here. He's sitting right beside me. We having lunch. So why would I walk off? You know,
Okay, I understand. Violation number 9, in that you failed to report monthly and was not living at the listed resident, making home visits impossible. How do you plead on that?
I plead not guilty because I've been living there since 1972. Also, my sister called the parole officer. I don't even know who the parole officer is, but she called and we did a 3-way last month to the parole office because I've been living there since 1972. Okay, if I'm not there, my sister left her address and where I be working at. Last week also, when I was first put on this parole 7-8 months ago. So
Okay. You've been working?
yes, sir.
And so when you're working, that's probably when they were coming by and they were missing you?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
what- All right.
But they had an address.
What address was that?
Pardon
What address was that they had?
me? The address is in Bastrop, Louisiana. You can call, my sister's a property manager. Okay, we take care of like 140 maybe apartments. I do maintenance work from there. Okay, and also I do temporary mechanic work. I've been living there all my life since 72. I have no reason to hide from them or whatever. All I needed to do is know who my parole officer is and what I need to do.
I thought you said you were in Leesville.
I live in Leesville. Leesville is my home. This is my 702 Short Street is where
Where's the address that the parole officer has?
the parole officer came there. That's where I met him at, in Leesville.
So that's where he has that address.
Yes, he knocked on the door, I answered the door, and that's my home.
Okay.
If I'm not at home, I'll be in Bastrop, Louisiana, working on apartment buildings there. And if I come home,
I got it now. I got it.
yes, sir.
All right. Violation number 10. You're in the rear of $1,277.
Yes, sir.
How do you plead?
I have
You only
no,
$46.
well, sir, I have a job now. I just got approved for my disability. I get paid a check. All I need to do is know where I need to send money because the last one I did it in Monroe. I gave them $100 money order. They told me I went there with cash. They said you can't pay in cash. This was during the time I was trying to find out whether I be reporting in Monroe or Leesville. I have no problem with paying as long as I know who my parole officer is and they.
Okay, I understand.
Yes, sir.
My colleague, got any questions?
I keep reading this stuff and it looks like you're getting your advice from the wrong people, not the parole office. You're
Well,
getting
sir, I must
advice from friends and other felons and.
not other fellows. I must agree with you what you said. I had an individual came to me and talked to me, and he told me, he said, well, man, when I was on probation, he said, when I reported, he says, they came to see me, and like I also did, he came to see me, and he said, well, man, if you send your money to in Monroe and you ain't supposed to be in Monroe, he said, man, I wouldn't just be sending my money in the envelope because I don't know where it's going. Okay, and I did. You know, I listened to what he was saying, which was the wrong thing to do. I should have been listening to what my parole officer said, but I didn't have one. I wasn't assigned to one parole officer. But I don't have a problem with catching up on my rear and paying you every month. I just need to know who my parole officer is. And I'm working now. I'm on disability. I just got my Medicaid. I'm a diabetic. I should insulin 3 times a day here. And I'm very sick.
The answer is, how long have you been out?
Sir?
How long have you been out?
Since 23, the end of 23. Yes,
and
sir.
you don't know who your parole officer is?
I never was assigned one from Monroe, from the time that I had the paperwork. to be sent from Monroe to Leesville. I reported to Leesville, parole office twice over there, and they told me that my parole officer was on leave and that they would contact me. Then the parole officer came by, made contact with me at my house.
Hey, you told me that earlier, but it's been years. You say you've been out since 23. It's 2026 now, and you never got in touch with your parole officer?
I never was assigned a parole officer here that I know of. If I was assigned a parole officer here, and didn't report, it's my mistake, sir. But they never questioned me. They never fingerprinted me. Never had no pictures taken. None of that since I've been out. And they did that all that in Monroe, and everything's supposed to have been transferred from Monroe. But I can't see how was I paroled to Monroe, and I never had a parole. I never had nothing to do with Monroe.
The 3 years though, it's been 3 years.
So I don't have no problem with paying the fine that the real fine that I am. Like I said, I got a job and I got an income coming in. I have no problem with catching up on the rear, reporting as long as I know who I need to report to, and me for I got a job and I got a fixed income, so I have no problem with paying the rear up. You know.
Why didn't you find out who your parole officer was if you didn't know?
That's my fault, sir. Because I listened to what somebody else was saying. Whenever he told me the last time the parole officer visited my house, he said whenever they get the paperwork straight, that they would allow me to know. So I took it upon myself to say, well, whenever they find out who assign me to a parole officer, then that's who I would report to and that's who I would pay. I was wrong for doing that, listening to somebody else. I should have took it upon myself to come down here and find out for myself. I didn't do that. But
and then a while ago, when I said you were taking your advice from a felon, you said, no, I'm not. You're taking advice from someone who's on probation.
I'm not sure.
How did they get on probation and parole, the one you're taking advice from?
Because I had expressed it with him, but the guy, he works for here. He works for the jail that I was talking to. So I don't think he's never been a felon. He's not a felon because he works for.
You saying God has given you the advice as the guards at the place, and not the parole officer?
He does maintenance work here.
But then how do you expect him to know what's going on if he's working in maintenance and he's not on supervision?
Well, I took his advice, sir, and I was wrong for doing that. I should have came. I should have followed myself. I admit to my wrong for doing that. I should have done that, but I took his word because he was affiliated with me. But now that I know, just give me a chance to give me an officer to report to, some time to catch up on these back pages here, and I have no problem with doing that, sir. I'm 69 years old. I'm on this insulin treatment every day, 3 times a day, and I made a mistake.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm ready to vote unless y'all have some questions. You have transportation?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a shot. I'm gonna vote do not revoke. And I expect you to within a week after you get out to get in touch with your parole officer and get this matter straightened up. That's just my vote. I'm gonna give you a shot. If you work and it's really your obligation to get in touch with your parole officer. You have transportation, you should have went to Leesville, then you may not be in this trouble. I might be doing the wrong thing, but I'm gonna give you a shot. My vote today is do not revoke.
Thank you, sir.
I don't believe some of your excuses, I can tell you that. And you've made some very bad decisions. You've been convicted of a charge, but I'm gonna go ahead and also give you a shot. But I'm gonna put you in work release for the next 6 months where you can get all your paperwork straight, figure out who your parole officer is, Your parole officer's gonna see you there, you're gonna let them know and line up that contact so that you'll be in a secure spot where they can see you.
Well, they get 702 Short Street. I've been there since 72, sir. I live there. I'm a single, my wife passed away 5 years ago. I live there or I live at my sister's. You have the address. My sister talked to the parole officer here 3 weeks ago and allowed him to know the address to her house and the work. So I have no problem. I got transportation, I got a job, you know, and I have no problem with paying the rear. Whatever is owed, you know, I just need a little opportunity, and the parole officer, I need to know who my parole officer is and who I need to report to. That's it. And I guarantee you won't have no problems out of me. None whatsoever, sir.
All right. I'm gonna change my vote. I vote to revoke your parole based on violation of condition number 4, number 2.
What's
And that way we're voting now, so it's time to talk it later. Okay, and I'm going to concur with Mr. Barra. I think that I was all ready to go for you, but you kept arguing. You kept saying it's up to somebody else to notify you who your parole officer is. That is your job, and my vote is to revoke you because of violation of conditions 2, 3, 4, 9, and 10.
no?
As of today, all it takes is 2/3 vote, so your parole as of 11:56 today has been revoked. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon. It's 12:01 in the afternoon, and today's date is May the 13th. This is our last case, and we are still at Vernon Parish Jail. And this will be our last case of the day and last case at Vernon Parish. The date is May the 13th of 2026. You can see our name tags as far as who represents the Committee on Parole for today. We are speaking to Xavier Tate. I think, are you Mr. Tate?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, and what is your DOC number?
741248, sir.
Okay, and you are not represented by counsel, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you signed that questionnaire and agree to go ahead and go forward with our hearing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis to go over, and so
Good afternoon, Mr. Tate. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Tillis. I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm going to read some violations and you can plead guilty, not guilty, or with a statement.
Yes, sir.
Violation number 2, you never reported for intake and your last office visit was on 3/17/2025. How do you plead?
I do plead guilty to that, sir. Never mind. Can I say anything?
Sure, go ahead. What, you want to state? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. When I came home on 3/15 last year, I was gonna stay with my grandmother at 213 Hickory Street, which I have on all of my documents. But when I got there, she had just like 6 people staying with her, and I couldn't stay there. And I was scared to tell somebody because I just did going on 5 years, and I didn't want to go back to prison. I thought that I would have to go back if I didn't have a place to stay. So I was homeless for about 2 weeks, and then I went to rehab from Mr. Andy Williams put me in rehab at Uprising in Shreveport.
Okay. Yeah. Violation number 3, you change your address without the knowledge or permission of your officer. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
That's guilty as well with a statement, sir.
Go ahead.
Also, it was due to me being in rehab, and then I was there from August 4th to September 4th, and then right after that, I was shipped to Monroe to Growing Hope Recovery to start an IOP program, and I remained sober. I attend AA meetings and everything, and I did that all the way up until January. I didn't have a phone. So I was just being focused on my sobriety. And I have all documents and everything proving where I was at. I wasn't trying to run, I was scared to go to jail. I stayed in treatment. So that's all I got, sir.
Okay. Violation number 4, you failed to follow the conditions which is evident by your arrest warrant obtained by Vernon Parish Sheriff's Office for misdemeanor simple assault from 3/22/2025. How do you plead?
Okay, well, as far as simple assault, I do want to plead not guilty, but I am guilty for being there. That's my youngest son's mother, and I brought my daughter to go see him because she wanted to see her brother. And when I got there, I just got out of prison. So I was like, I want them to see each other. Well, when I took her there, his mother wanted me to stay the night there. And I said, I can't. I have to take her back to her mother. And she got all outrageous with her friends. They're like, you just want to go stay over there with her. I said, well, I just got out of prison. I don't want to stay with nobody. And she's like, well, you and that little B word can get out of my house. And I was like, are you serious? So I'm to pick my daughter up and walk down. She threw her keys at me. And I turned around and I'm like, bro, she said, hit me, I dare you. I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna hit you, but my sister would if she found out about this. And then I kept on walking, she called the police on me. And that's God honest truth.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Violation number 9, you change your address without the knowledge or permission of your officer. How do you plead?
That is guilty as well, sir. That was due to me being in IOP at Growing Hope Recovery, in Monroe, Louisiana, 1000 North Sixth Street and Monroe. That's the only explanation I have for that. I am guilty. I should have stayed in contact with him. I have no excuse on why. I was just trying to stay focused, sir, on my sobriety and being a better person in society. That's it. I have no excuse for that as well.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any of my colleagues have any questions?
No.
I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
My vote today is going to be to revoke for rules number 2, 3, 4, and 9.
Okay, Mr. Baldwin.
I'll concur with Mr. Tillis for the same reasons.
Okay, all right, man. I was gonna go a little different, but it doesn't really make any difference. Mr. Tate, you gotta serve, I think, till 2035. So you gotta serve 9 more years, correct? Is that what you're backing up to?
Yes, sir, but please don't.
And you got and you got a lot of drug history. I think you need to take some time and have you had any long-term drug treatment?
Yes, sir. That's why I was in rehab last year. I stayed in rehab from the time I got out to the time the county got me.
Okay, all right, well, you've got 2 votes to revoke you, and that's what it takes. And so as of 12:08 today, your parole has been revoked, sir.